Howdy, y'all. So, Jeep vlog. Let's go for a ride. Got my seatbelt on. I'm all ready to go. It's not supposed to be too hot today. They said it was going to be a high of only 89, so that's awesome. Today, I am going to meet my son to go to lunch. I'm sorry if I'm real wiggly. Um, I've got my camera up here as best as I can, but after it rides for a while, it gets wiggly. Um, I'll try to adjust it if it needs it. But anyway, so my son is going to Texarkana for some business, and I am going to go there and meet him for lunch. It takes him about an hour to get there from where he's coming from, and it takes me about an hour to get there from here. So it's a handy spot to meet. And, it's a good sized town. Texarkana is good size, so there's lots of places to go there. And I thought I would just give y'all a chat while I was riding there or driving there. So, what have I been up to? Well, I've been very busy. I have been working in the yard. We've been doing so much. It was really hot and dry for a long time. The summer has been very dry and hot. We kind of had a drought going on. And then it rained for on and off for like a week. And then we had a pretty good thunderstorm. And our yard light fell down. So we had to fix it and get it remounted. And then we noticed there was a lot of trees that needed trimmed, like the lower limbs needed cut off. So we did that. We cut a bunch of limbs, or he did. And I burned them up. And also we've been having a burn ban, so we couldn't burn anything. And then after it rained for a week, of course, we were able to. So we've been working in the yard, especially all through the holiday weekend. They had a little thing over at Uncle Gary's, and we were invited and wanted to go and everything, but we were so busy with all of that and getting caught up with the yard work and burning up all that stuff. And we still haven't got it all burned up. There was just too much to do in a day. But we've got the yard all cleaned up. It's looking nice. Everything's looking good. And it's been, not quite so hot, and it's been raining a little bit, so the grass is all greened up, and my tomato plants have got some tomatoes on them, but unfortunately, the sunflowers are no good. They're not all dead. One of them's dead for sure, but they're all wilty and droopy and not very good. So I'm going to pull them up and I don't know if I'm going to leave that potting soil in those pots and maybe do some kind of like autumn flower decoration in them, put them around, or if I'm just going to dump that potting soil over onto my grape bed for the grapes, because it needs a little dirt in there too. So yesterday I heard that Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II had passed away, and I was so sad. I know, everybody over there, they're going to be in mourning for like 10 days, and it's just so sad. She was an extraordinary woman. That's what I always think whenever I think of her. She was an extraordinary woman, and remember that during the war, I think she drove a supply truck or something and like worked on it and stuff. A very kind of rough and ready job she did during the war. Anyway, she dedicated her entire long life to her country, and I wasn't aware of it. I'd been back in the back room sewing, and I got a notification. Sometimes they come through, sometimes they don't, but I got a notification. Eden had posted this adorable little video of the Queen having tea with Paddington Bear. They were having tea and marmalade sandwiches. It was so cute, but yeah, I didn't know until I saw that. And then, of course, after that, I saw all over everywhere it was posted, the news that she had passed away. And I heard that there was a double rainbow over there, over Buckingham Palace, the day that she passed away. So that was some sad news that we got this week. That was just yesterday. And I know that everybody over there is just... Nobody can remember a time when she wasn't queen. Nobody remembers when she wasn't the queen. So, let's see. What else is going on? It seems like there was so much I wanted to tell you guys. And then when I get to talking, I diverge and go off on a tangent and ramble about unimportant stuff and then don't ever say what I want to say. Okay, so me and Forrest were talking yesterday about our little meetup here today, and I was telling him that I wanted to go to a ball game with him. It has been years. We kind of half-heartedly planned it last year and never did follow through. But I've been talking to Bee, and she's a band mom, and her daughter is in college and in band, and she has shared some pictures and stuff. And Bee, let me tell you, that video up in the risers with the band, oh, that took me back. Oh my God, I'm such a band mom. I love, love, love it. And seeing all of the pictures and stuff, I just can't tell y'all how much it means when you share pictures of yourself and your family and what's going on and what you're doing. When Boone, you sent that little voice message to me, it's just you talking. That is so personal. I love it when you guys do that, when you send me little clips or just photos or voice messages or something, because although I'm on camera a lot, you guys get to see me a lot. I only usually ever see your thumbnail. If you're not a creator, I don't get to see you. So it's always so exciting and thrilling, and it just makes us feel closer when we can share pictures of each other and we can hear each other's voices. And I just love getting pictures. Like Kelly sends me pictures of her cat all the time, and I just love those kinds of pictures. I love it. So I appreciate that, Bee, and you have got me thinking about being a band mom, being back in the day, and oh, how did I love doing all of that. I just adored it. And I went to every game, every performance, every competition. I, I usually didn't drive. I usually went with the band on the bus and rode with the kids and sat with them and waited. When it was a competition, there's so much waiting, and then it was hurry, 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 get everything. You make sure you got everything. And then, of course, I did all the sewing for the uniforms, and there was always some last minute little thing that I'd have to hurry quick, and I carried a little bag on my belt loop with the essentials so I could quick sew a kid into their outfit if they needed it. And yeah, it was just super fun. And seeing those pictures and watching the shows and stuff with B just really brought it all back in a way that, made me miss it. And so when I was talking to Forrest, I was telling him, oh, I've been, missing being a band mom, and we need to go to your alma mater and watch a game and listen to the band. And he said, well, the best time to do it would be homecoming. And why don't I see if some of my friends would also come? And it would be so awesome if, a lot of his friends from the band showed up. And, homecoming, if you're not from the States, you probably don't know about homecoming. It's a ball game. It's a football game after football season starts pretty early in the season. Each school has a designated football game that they're going to play at home, and it's a special time for all the past alumni to come and visit, and they do a thing on the field where the captain of the football team and his date come out, and then there's the co-captain, and there's the homecoming queen. That's who the homecoming queen is. I think some schools do it a different way, but basically they vote for a homecoming queen and a homecoming king, and it has a lot to do with football. So usually people involved in football are involved in homecoming. There'll be a big parade the day, like earlier in the day, they'll have a big parade. All the beauty queens will be in it, the homecoming queen, and little whatever county, and the little tiny tot princesses, and the band will play. And there's a lot of different people that sponsor floats, which basically is just like I'm sure you're aware of what a float is, even if you're not from the United States. I'm sure you have parades with floats. People get a trailer and fix it up on a theme. Sometimes they do flowers, usually just crepe paper, stuff like that. And anyway, they throw candy to the kids that are watching, and there's usually horses, people who have horses we'll ride them, and they'll get all dressed up in their cowboy or cowgirl fancy show outfit, with the rhinestones and the sequins, and it's all a big show parade, and then they have a big football game. Usually they win. They'll pick somebody that they can play against that it'll be a good game, and maybe it's not a sure thing, but they're not going to go against the hardest team in the district on homecoming. They want to win, and the families are involved when they present the different football players with stuff. Their family comes out on the field. We'll bring them roses and balloons and stuff like that. So it's more than just a football game. Homecoming is a big deal. And although it's not really my hometown, where he went to school is where I did all that. That's where I participated in all that. I didn't really participate in that whenever I went to school, and I quit school really young. So I didn't really do that at my own school, but I did do it with my son when he was in school. And he was always playing in the band, and we would decorate he played the tenor quads, so that was the 4 big drum rack, and we would decorate it, depending on what parade he was going to be in. We'd put stuff all over. Sometimes he would wear like a hat with lights on it, or, sometimes they were in full regalia with their band uniform hats on, which had big plumes on them. And anyway, yeah, so I've been so in the football season mood, so in the let's go listen to the band. I'm really only here for the halftime show. But don't get me wrong, I do enjoy going to the game, but I enjoyed it so much more when I knew who was playing. I really love knowing the people on the field, be it the band or the players or the cheerleaders. And of course, when my son was in school, I knew all of them and had such a wonderful time. So we're going to see if everything goes right. It will be a week from today. So this next coming up Friday is homecoming at his old high school. So I think we're going to try and go to the homecoming, and I'm really excited about it. I really loved everything to do with band, and talking to Bea about her daughter being in band, and seeing some of her performance and stuff. It just brought it all right back. I just love it. As you can tell, I was just a super nerd idiot about band. I was all into it. I was in band boosters. I was the secretary. I went to every game. We did fundraising. I think it was his junior year. We raised $30,000 so that they could go march in the parade at Disneyland. And they did the Magic Kingdom parade. But, they had to raise the money to go. They went and stayed several days, and not everybody was able to just afford to do that. So that was more than a year of intensive fundraising. I sold so much chocolate. The world's finest chocolate. You get those boxes of chocolate, and if you're a parent or if you've done any fundraising, you know what world's finest chocolate is. They sell it for, I think it's $2 a bar now, or is it $1? I think it's $2 now. I can't remember. But, I took it everywhere that I went. I took a box. I sold it to everybody who would just stop for a second and listen to me. We did all different other kind of fundraisers. We did, they sold these little cards that gave you discounts at different restaurants and stores and stuff in the area. And we did a beauty pageant. I know that's kind of controversial, but around here, beauty pageants are old hat. It's nobody cares. It's like everybody does beauty pageants, and that was our big annual fundraiser, was the beauty pageant and talent show. It's a beauty pageant and a talent show. So I think we did like 4 different categories and awarded a scholarship, a cash prize, and a trophy, I think. And that was still our biggest moneymaker, was the beauty contest. We also did, here's one you may not have heard of. I surely hadn't. Cow Chip Bingo. So Cow Chip Bingo, strangely, is where you divide the football field up into like square yards, and you divide it up into like 100 squares, and then you sell chances on each square. I think it's like $5 per chance. And then after oh, something just fell on top of my car. That must have been a pine cone or something. Anyway, so you divide the field all up, and after you've sold the tickets to all the different squares on the field, you put a cow out there on the football field. And wherever the cow poops, that square wins. And they win like $500. So it's a really good, investment. Everybody wants to play. And so they just put that cow out there and leave it out there until it goes poo somewhere. And then that's the winner. There was other things that we did to raise money, but that was the most unique one, I have to say. And let's see, all kinds of stuff. And then they went to the Magic Kingdom and they did the parade. They also did all kinds of classes. Like they learned stuff there while they were there. They had instructors and tutors and stuff showing them stuff. It was really cool. So yeah, after I go and have lunch with him, I'm probably going to go ahead and do my weekly shopping. I've been planning on doing a video now. I've talked to a couple of you guys about it, about doing a walkthrough on a Super Walmart. Maybe not the biggest one that's around that I go to, maybe a smaller one, because it'll take a while. And they are kind of like, a Target or a Kmart, like a big K or the big Target with the grocery store included. They have a grocery store in there too as well. So Super Walmart is not only like a big Target or Kmart and a grocery store, it is also like they have a huge fabric department and a paint department and a big electronics, photo, movies department. And then they do like your car. So you can go pull around back to the automotive place and have your tires done or have your oil changed or lots of stuff. They do all kinds of just like kind of regular maintenance, vehicle maintenance. Have all your fluids checked or have it winterized or, whatever. There's also usually a restaurant. It's probably like Subway or McDonald's. And so there's more departments. I know that I'm missing some. There's always a huge lawn and garden department that also goes outside, that has a big part outside. And along with the lawn and garden, there's the seasonal stuff like Christmas or whatever holidays around. But Christmas, they do Christmas for 2 or 3 months, and that takes over a lot of the lawn and garden area. And then they have a full pharmacy there, and all that entails, everything that goes with a pharmacy. And they have a full hot and cold deli and a full bakery. So it's just like tons and tons and tons of different things inside of one place. A lot of them, most of them, along the front of the store will also have a bank, an optometrist, a place where you can go get glasses. Just, it depends on which one you go to, but they have so much. It is literally a one-stop shop. You can do anything. Like you can go there and put your car in and get your tires rotated and your oil changed. Go and drop off your prescription for your medication. Go to the optometrist, drop off your prescription for your eyeglasses. Go and eat lunch, do your shopping, pick everything up, and get your groceries and stuff, and then pick up your car and leave. I mean, you can absolutely do everything under one roof, which is super convenient, which is why everybody goes there. But it also has driven out every kind of little small mom and pop business. There are no little shops that just sell something anymore. It's like everything is very specialized, and you can't get it at Walmart, or they went out of business. And in fact, they seem kind of ruthless with it because, like, over in Texarkana, there were several little places that had grocery stores, like neighborhood grocery stores, okay? Like, there was old Rakoff's and like a Piggly Wiggly, a Harvest Foods, or uh, what else was there? There was a Cash Saver, just, smaller chain grocery stores. And it seems like what happened was Walmart came in and bought those, and they opened a neighborhood Walmart, which is a much smaller version. It's like a small grocery store and a dollar store put together. So they opened like a neighborhood Walmart there, where the old Rakoffs used to be, or the old Piggly Wiggly used to be. They fully remodeled and opened a neighborhood Walmart branch. And then, not long after that, like less than a year, many of those just closed down. So your option was you shop at Walmart, or that's it, because they've already taken over and closed down the other grocery stores, and now most of those have also just closed their doors. I don't know if Walmart kind of overstretched itself opening all of those different, branches, or if that was intentional. It kind of seemed intentional, like they just put their competition out of business, pretty much, because every little corner grocery store, they're just not around anymore. You'll see one every once in a while, but if your town is big enough to have a super Walmart, then one will come and put out all the little mom and pop businesses that put them out of business. So, sometimes I feel bad about shopping at Walmart like that, like getting everything at Walmart. But then again, that's about your lot. I mean, that's pretty much your choice. You've got to go and get most of that stuff at Walmart anyway now, because there aren't any fabric stores. Like, I was just talking about this the other day with a friend. There used to be two very large fabric stores. I remember, like, when some of my friends were just out of high school and getting married and stuff, and getting the fabric for their weddings, for their bridesmaids' dresses, these two places were where we went. It was these huge fabric stores. Both of them were Hancock's Fabrics. And they had, everything that you could ever want in a fabric store. And they've been out of business. Both of those branches have been out of business for years and years. At least 5 years they've been out of business. Yeah. So yeah, Walmart just slowly puts these different shops out of business, and then it's kind of like you just got to go there because that's what's available, and they're cheaper than everywhere else, and they're more convenient than everywhere else, and they match prices. So if you find something and it's a low price, and you have the advertisement or the coupon or the flyer for it, and you can prove it, Walmart will match that price on the same item. So there's really no reason to shop anywhere else. But, it does seem kind of like, they're taking over. But this time of year, whenever I go shopping, there's all kinds of seasonal stuff out, and autumn is my favorite season. So I'm always really excited to just kind of see what's new and what's fresh. Not only at Walmart, where I do the majority of my personal shopping, but also at the dollar store, the Dollar General and the Family Dollar. They have taken that little niche that Walmart has left behind when you don't want to go and walk over 2.5 acres of Walmart to get a carton of eggs or a container of milk. Then a lot of people choose to go to the dollar store because they also have, any kind of little something you would run into the store for, whatever you're going for, bread or diapers or, whatever. The dollar store's got it. It's much smaller. It's easier to access. The lines are shorter. It's just the parking's better, because when you go to Walmart, especially a big super Walmart, get ready to walk, because you've got to park way out in the parking lot and walk. And there is no shade So, of course, your vehicle becomes super intensely hot while you're in there shopping, and that is always miserable when you come back out. Even if you start it and, get it cooled off and everything, it just kind of sucks to have your vehicle 125 degrees while you're in there shopping. But anyway, on to the seasonal stuff and the football and the band, and I can't wait. So I'm going to meet him for lunch, and we're going to talk about going to homecoming next week. And I don't know about making it to the parade, but I will definitely be doing some videos of the homecoming, of the band show, of the game, just some of the atmosphere. I like to get stuff like that. I mean, most of y'all have been to a football game. You know what it's like to go to a football game. But some of my friends that are not from the States haven't ever experienced an American football game. And like with many things, I always took it for granted that there are always a football team and cheerleaders and pep squad and marching band, and a lot of different people don't have that when they go to school. That's such a fundamental backbone of American school, especially in the autumn time. It's just football, football, football. Everything is centered around football this time of year. And although I'm not a big football fan, I am an athletic supporter because I support the band, and the band supports the team. Everybody supports the team. But I love the music. I always thought that it was a shame that the band wasn't showcased more. It seems like, they're there to cheer on the football team, support them. They play the music at halftime and do their show and everything. But it always seemed to me, as a band mom and as a music lover, that the band stood on its own. And I wondered why we had to do their shows at the football game, because to me, that was the highlight of the evening, was the band show. But, I guess we're trying to get as many people out to support all the kids as we can, but I just always thought that, the band was the reason I was coming, even though most people were coming for the game. And when we went to competitions and stuff, of course, the football team wasn't involved. And there were a select few students who did play football and also march in the band. So they would play the game, and at halftime, they would come out and march in the band in their football uniform. And I always thought that was really cool. It showed a lot of dedication. One of Forrest's friends marched, I think she was in volleyball. People did different things. So when they were busy doing that, they would, be in a different uniform. But people were allowed to participate in more than one activity. So you could be on the football team and you could still march the bass drum and band. It's fine, so I'm looking forward to it. The cheerleaders, people overlook how much work. They just see the pretty girls jumping and clapping and doing flips, and there is so much more to cheering than what meets the eye. Those girls are real athletes. They work hard. They take a beating. They fall. They get hurt. They get hurt as much as the football players do, or more. The way they throw each other around and climb up and make those pyramids, the pyramids themselves are just, they're just really awesome. Everybody out there that's doing their thing, whether they're marching in the band, cheering in the stands, cheering on the field, or playing the game, everybody is just giving it 100% and doing everything they can to support each other and make sure everybody has a great time. And I love it. And it didn't back in the day. When I was in school, couldn't stand that. Hated going to pep rallies, because pep rallies on Friday afternoon was kind of a mandatory thing. Everybody got out of class early. You all go to the pep rally. You all cheer. The cheerleaders have made their big sign out of paper, and they painted it all up like "Beat the Tigers" or whatever, and all the boys run through the paper and break the paper, and they announce everybody, and everybody cheers, and they play music and get all hyped up, and everybody wants to go to the football game and show their support for the team. And when I was in school, I was having none of that. I could not stand that. I was a disgruntled girl hanging out with a bunch of thugs smoking cigarettes under the bleachers. And now I'm a total band mom. It's amazing. It's amazing the 180-degree turnaround from when I was in school to when my son was in school. It was a totally different deal. But yeah, I've been so thinking about that so much. I've been working on that blanket and those pillows in the gold and garnet, and those are the school colors. Now, when my son went to school, his high school colors were blue and white, which I loved, and he looked great in. He always looks fantastic in blue because he has bright blue eyes. So I love that their uniforms were blue and white. And then when he went to college, he went to Arkadelphia to Henderson State, and they are the Reddies, and they are kind of it's red, it's a deep red. They're red and white and silver sometimes, red and white. And when he graduated, my husband had decorated his cap. That was a thing they were doing then, was decorating their caps. And he wrote Ready, like, because their mascot is called the Reddies. They are the Henderson Reddies. So on his graduation board, he wrote in a really cool way that looked exactly like the script that they use for the Henderson Reddies. And he wrote, "I'm ready," on this thing because he knew already he was going to Henderson College after his graduation. So that was really super cool to have done on the blue cap in the red and white colors. So it was mixing his two, his high school colors and his college colors. They merged on his high school graduation cap. That was so cool. My favorite show that they did when he was in high school was it was based on the Muppets, Jim Henson's The Muppets, and there's a little backstory there. When he was a baby, I painted his nursery in huge life-size Muppets. I mean, I had them all. I had Big Bird, was 10 feet tall. I had the Count. I had Grover. I had Oscar and Bert and Ernie, and I had painted the ceiling sky blue and put clouds on it. Big Bird was flying a kite. He had like a real string in his hand that went up to a real kite that I had put on the ceiling. I went all out on that nursery, and it was a total Sesame Street nursery, themed nursery. And so when his senior show was a Sesame Street themed show, it was just like everything had come full circle. I was so excited when they announced the theme for the show. And that year, they had came out with a Muppet movie. And there was a couple of songs in their show from the movie. That dun 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 dun, that song, that song. I don't remember the name, but they also did. The show was called Rainbow Connection, and they had a huge, like 60-foot crepe paper rainbow that we drug out on the field, and they erected slowly when they sang Rainbow Connection. Oh, it was wonderful. It was my favorite show. I loved that show. I loved participating in that show and dragging all the equipment around and everything. It was fantastic. And on the Rainbow Connection show, the color guard, not only did they have their flags, but during some of the show, they had actual Muppet puppets, and they danced with them. They danced the puppets around for the color guard show. And it was so fantastic. It was a dream come true, really, to have my little baby, who I had the Sesame Street everything, grow up, and here he is, 18 years old, a senior in high school, doing his final band performance. And that's right, it's the Muppets. so great. I couldn't believe it. And he said he was considering doing, the band director was considering doing a show themed on Doctor Who, which, don't get me wrong, would have been fantastic. I love Doctor Who. And I can imagine so many ways you could do that on the field with like a TARDIS and stuff. It would have been great. But I am so glad they went with Sesame Street, because that was just, like I said, it's just like everything came full circle. And so, yeah, I've just been reminiscing about the good old band days. I know I've gone on and on for a long time about this, but yeah, I'm real excited to see my son and talk about some good old times, and plan to maybe go see everybody at homecoming. I think, he's pretty much in touch with most all of his old bandmates, and a lot of them still live around here, even if they've gotten married and stuff. They still live around this area, so it would be really cool if he could make a few connections and get some people to come, and we could have our old crew back together again. That would be super awesome. Having to merge. So, yeah, anyway, I'm still driving. I guess you're probably tired of listening by now, so I'm going to wrap it up, because all I'm going to do is go on about the band anyway. But I'll be sure and take lots of nice videos so you can see what it's like to go to the band, and then you can see me and my kiddo together, even though he's not a kiddo anymore. He's a big grown man. And it looks like we've got some construction ahead, so I better cut this off and pay attention. So thanks for joining me, you guys. I'm so glad you came to ride along with me and listen to me ramble and to get caught up. And I'm sure I'm forgetting some. Oh yeah, the internet thing. That's what I'm forgetting. Let me real quick give you an update on the internet. So, internet is available to me now. I must just choose a plan and sign up for it and pay for it, and they will come and drag a line from where they're at to my house and hook me up at the pole, and then come and put the router in my house and do everything. Me and my husband have had a little bit of a debate on that, because with the fiber network, it's not actually Wi-Fi. So you need to hook up to your computer and stuff. And all we really have at our house at this time are our 2 smartphones, and we've got a smart TV. So we don't have a computer or a laptop or a tablet or anything there right now. So I wanted to jump in with both feet and get the full deal. And he was thinking that probably we better go in on the lowest end with the package. And that way, if we see that that's what we need to use, we can upgrade it. But without a computer or anything to hook up, we're going to have to go with the lower end on the fiber, and then go on the higher end on the Wi-Fi, because they have like a subsidiary plan you can get to get the Wi-Fi added on there. So anyway, for the last week or so, we've been trying to decide what we actually want to purchase, and I've been trying to contact a human being to ask them what exactly the fiber network is going to provide. Like, will it give good service signal for our smartphones, or do we need, the additional Wi-Fi package in order to do what I'm trying to do, until we get an actual, computer and hook it up to the fiber network. Then I can do my YouTube uploading and stuff through there. But right now I'm just doing everything on my smartphone. So I was having trouble getting a hold of an actual human being. So I think we're just going to go ahead and go with the smallest package with the upgraded Wi-Fi deal. And I feel like we can always get more. And that's what he was saying too. He was like, let's start with the small one. And if it's not enough, we can always upgrade. But if we get this big giant package, we may be committed to a contract to pay for a lot more service than we'll actually need until we get a computer. So that's what we're going to do. I haven't done it yet. It was a holiday weekend, so I'm going to do it this coming weekend if I can get anybody on the phone to talk to. If not, I'm just, like I said, going to go with the low package and set it up via email, because there doesn't seem to be a human involved. I keep just getting shunted to the kind of text and email helpline. So anyway, there's that. That's what's going on with the internet. So after I place my order, I should be able to have good, fast internet service within 2 weeks. So I'm thinking by, this time next month, we should be all set. Anyway, I've rattled on long enough. I've kept you long enough. If you stayed to the end, thank you so much. I love you, love you, love you. Until next time, y'all be sweet.